Today we're talking about how you can get more direct bookings. Now that Airbnb is below 50% market share, a lot of customers are going direct. There's only two ways that you can find these customers. So this video is going to teach you both of the marketing methodologies to find and book those direct customers. This video will make you a ton of money and increase your occupancy because as Airbnb deflates, your direct bookings will grow. I promise you that. Let's begin. Hey friends, welcome to the Grand Canyon. Now the two ways that you can get direct bookings is one, to already have had a customer, have them in a list of your own, market to them directly and get them to rebook with you direct. The second is to not have a customer yet and to find a stranger where they have search intent to book somewhere near you. One is a list-driven campaign and the other one is a keyword campaign. Both can cost money, but both also can be done for free. I will teach you the free stuff today because that's what this channel does. It's the best source for free information on how to run an Airbnb business. If you want to learn short-term rentals, just click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you don't miss any solid advice because we always cover something of value in every single video. Now, Mark from Boostly made a hot comment earlier. 70% of all direct bookings come from someone trying to find a listing and then switching from Airbnb or VRBO to find you directly. So my previous video about naming your property to be found is one that you should watch before we continue to talk about search intent and keywords. But we're going to cover keywords first and SEO marketing. Then we're going to cover email lists. So break out your laptop, open your listing, and let's look at how keyword friendly your listing might be. And if you have a website, I welcome you to look at your website as well. Search intent sounds obvious, but let's explain. If somebody is looking to learn how to cook a pizza, they're going to write how to cook a pizza on YouTube or Google. If somebody just wants a recipe for pizza, they'll just type in pizza recipes. If someone's looking to remodel their kitchen so they can cook pizzas, they'll write pizza oven tips for a home kitchen or some other phrase like that. A 101 novice will say, oh yeah, your keyword's pizza. Somebody more intelligent will still get stuck. They go, wait, hold on. That has no context. These are about cooking pizza. But I tell you that that is still not specific enough. And a lot of Airbnb hosts get this wrong. They're like, oh, I've got a treehouse here and I've got a villa here and I've got some apartments here. And they have less in common than the person thinks, but they try to bundle them together and try to use one series of keywords to encapsulate their whole portfolio. So they're like apartments and houses near Dallas or places to stay near Dallas. And my first pro tip for you is every single property that you have, we are going to go to war with a keyword campaign that is hyper specific to what's unique about your property. Because if you watched my last video about underserviced keywords or non-competitive keywords, this is actually how you get found. We need to lead with the least serviced and most unique keywords each property has, instead of trying to bundle them all together into one group of keywords that represents a group of properties. This one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work. And here's your next big pro tip. I want you to take your Airbnb listing and I want you to strip it of all keywords. Anything that you would hope to get found on Google, strip it all. But what you're going to do is you're going to then add back in keywords that you control. So using last video, Cherry Farmlands Ranch, for example, you can use that because the goal is to get somebody to see a keyword you generated on Airbnb that you control, that you can be found later, and then hope that that person uses that keyword. If you use other keywords that you don't control, use too many of them, you can't really be sure that when somebody's trying to find your listing, that they're going to use the keyword that you're spending a little bit of ad spend on, or that you've really optimized your SEO for your website. So now instead, take your website and make a blog page per listing. You're going to have a direct booking link, embedded widget if you can, on your website. And then you're going to keyword load that blog with all of the hyper unique stuff that you want somebody to see. Here in Dallas, the best properties with pianos are blank and blank. This property we're featuring in this blog for all of these unique keywords and features. And you're going to load that blog page. And then hopefully with good solid SEO practices, which is a deep dive video for the future, we can get that page to perform. And that page has a direct link to our direct booking website for that one property that we're trying to sell people on for its unique features. And by segmenting every significant property, whether it's one villa or a high-rise property in Austin that you have 10 apartments in, one project at a time, by segmenting this, you can get hyper specific on your keywords, which means you can get found when someone has really high search intent for the uniqueness of your property. And I want to back out for you to try to give you a bigger business lesson here. If someone has high search intent, but you're a bad fit and then you spend money trying to be found for a search intent that you're a bad fit for, you will waste money. If someone's looking for a single-story home in Dallas that is ADA accessible, and you try to market your 3-floor home that's terrible for someone in a wheelchair as an ADA accessible property, and everyone else is going to beat you, you're going to lose that dogfight. And this happens more often when you try to take 6 properties, bundle them into one generic portfolio where some are good and some are bad, and then you use those keywords. This, my friends, is the heart of your new SEO campaign, search engine optimization. And bonus is large language models like ChatGPT and Grok are assisting people in finding properties using semantic search. Hey, ChatGPT, help me find a property that's good for my family. It needs to have a big kitchen, be ADA accessible, whatever. And we can start using those semantically driven keyword strings that come in conversation side of our blog. So that way ChatGPT or Grok will actually pull us as the most relevant string. We're no longer needing just to use very short Google-related keywords. We can use conversational strings or sentences. So we now just need to think about, what does somebody say to ChatGPT when they're searching for a property like mine? Again, this is awareness of search intent. Search intent will make you a short-term rental millionaire through direct bookings. I think right now might be time to like the video if you found that valuable. And for those of you who've never blogged before, I recommend a Squarespace website or something like that because they've got blog engines built in and they can help you keyword optimize your blog pages without having to go too nuts. So if you're looking for a direct booking website that allows you the marketing power you need, stay tuned. Very shortly, I'll be doing a video on direct booking sites and which ones might actually allow us to really go to war on organic marketing. It's important, wouldn't you agree? So this, my friends, in summary, is preparing your business to be found by people you've never met in your life that you don't know, but you know their nature. You know that they're searching for a house, or they're searching for a tree house, or they're searching for a romantic getaway, right? Understanding our consumer archetype, this hypothetical customer, and then building individual pages that can overlap that circle of who is our archetype customer, all the keywords and stuff we can know about them, get that circle to overlap an individual page, one listing at a time. This is more work, but it gives you better results. And then if you do ever spend money on ads, you have now practiced the art of being overly specific as a defense. Because as we said in that last video, please watch that video. If you just put pizza as your keyword on an ad campaign, and if you wanted somebody to buy your pizza oven, you're going to get murdered. Because all of the searches for pizza will be how to make pizza. What's a good pizza recipe? Gluten-free pizza. What is pizza? Where did pizza get invented? What is the most popular cities for pizza? Your pizza oven is dead and you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on ad spend for the word pizza because you went generic. We want to take the opposite approach. But let's move on to this list-based. Let's say you want to build a list and then email market these people. You can build a list for free, but gosh darn, it is a bunch of work. You'll have to get a customer to give you their email and then opt in to receiving marketing emails. A sneaky way that you can get somebody's email is you have a check-in guide that requires somebody give you their email to check in, like a Google Drive, like a Google Sheet, and it's restricted. So you send them the link and say, we're going to give you temporary access. So please, with whatever email you'd like to use, request access and we'll give you that link. Then inside of that link, you could also maybe have some sort of redirect to a page where they could also opt in with the same email. Otherwise, you take that email and then send them a thank you for booking check-in guide / welcome book email. And you try to automate this through Zapier or whatever you build it with, which is overly complex. Let's not talk about it for now. But automated email or not, you send them an email, which then gives them a chance to opt in / opt out to continue to receiving emails. And this is one way, one very clunky, archaic way that people back in 2004 would develop an email list. There are other companies and sites that do cost money, depending on what features you use, but they're powerful too. Like StayFi, you can connect it to your Wi-Fi, and anybody who wants to use your Wi-Fi has to give up their email. You can use a digital guidebook app. You could use TouchStay, for example. You can make your own widget, like Sonder has their own website / app for people to check in. You could straight up say, hey, I've made a guidebook that I want to email to you. That way you can use it later and you can access it offline. What is your email? Let me send it. You could just do it like that. Just permissively ask every individual person for their email so you can send them one. No matter what you choose, whether you use a software or an app or just ask permission, no matter what, you will need their emails to build out a list. And then you're going to take a newsletter style approach. I have something in my world of educational content that I think you guys should all use. I call it a drip. I use a drip in what I consider to be my incubation process for an email. When someone gives up their email, they're very much waiting for you to be a bad person or a waste of their time. And so instead, you make sure that you have 5 emails for them over the course of 2 months that are absolutely perfect, high value, easy to open, easy to love, easy to build trust with. You're not going to go and try to get them to buy more stuff from you yet. You're going to make them not regret giving up their email. And this will create a high open rate for your newsletter style approach, which means that your newsletters or emails won't go into promotional spam. And that's one of the first things that you have to get through in email list campaigns. Then you can use urgency, saying, these holidays are going to be sold out. We're going to let people book direct first. They're blocked on our booking channels. Click this link to reserve your 4th of July or your Thanksgiving. And these are the very first times that it's easy to get direct bookings, which is for high value dates. And even if you only start getting direct bookings for high value dates like this, you still are not paying the 15.5% service fee for Airbnb or 18% for booking.com or whatever that is. That's a huge savings. And when you get a direct booking, you can charge the credit card right now and capture that cash, and you can use that cash today. You can have cash in your account for a booking that is happening 3 months from now. And Airbnb will never, ever give you that money in advance. Never. So that's another advantage of this. Now, here's a huge pro tip, even one that my team, they just don't want to do this stuff in the education space world. They just don't like doing hard stuff. When you send an email, if you have a big enough list, which is going to take you forever, you can split test titles. So right now, take like 25% of your list and send them 2 different email titles. One that's like urgency related, and then one's like super sweetheart and authentic. And keep notes, like tally. I'm always going to use urgency or apple pie. Those are going to be your 2 approaches for the next 4 or 5 emails that you send, and look at what the open percentages are for those emails. And then every time that you send an email to 25%, just take the winner and then send the rest of the 75% an email with the title that won on open percentage just sometime later in the day. This will protect your open rate, which will protect your ability to not show up in spam. And eventually you're going to have something really cool, which is psychographic information. You will notice that your travelers who book your home tend to respond to urgency, or tend to respond to wow stuff, or tend to respond to humor, or tend to respond to, I'm going to be honest with you, John, type titles. This is so important. If you're trying to get direct bookings, you're trying to build a relationship with your list. And to build a relationship with your list is to understand how they like to be talked to, what topics they like to get from you. Do they want restaurant lists? Do they want amazing architecture from around the world? Do they want hidden gems? Do they want places that are nearby, places that they've stayed before? Do they want you to give them high quality photos of places that they've been so they can use that stuff on their Instagram? We can test all of this stuff in the body of the email by having a link to whatever value you offer. And we can see what the open rate of that link is. So now you're testing titles and you're testing the bottom of your email, which is conversion to value, whatever value you're giving them. And you'll find out that the best performing local restaurant lists of different cities in the world will perform better than the hidden gem places to go stay that are nearby the most famous places to stay. That, or you might find that your blogs about architectural wonders are just absolutely trash and nobody wants to read them. And in the failure, there is value. My friends, thank you so much for watching this video all the way through to the end. And thank you for spending time at the Grand Canyon with me. This video is another video that you should watch about using pricing softwares, which you can use to change the rates on your direct booking website too, by the way. Please watch this video to continue your world-class free education on how to run a short-term rental business. And I will humbly ask again, join the movement, subscribe. As always, my friends, I will see you on the other side.